There's a lot of hype about this race.
It's the biggest race in Hong Kong.
It's a race that all the Hong Kong owners want to win.
They spend an inordinate amount of money in order to buy a horse that can compete in the Derby, and only one will win it.
The racing public make it big, the Hong Kong Jockey Club make it big.
The grandstand's really close to the track, so you really feel the crowd cheer you on up the straight.
You don't realise how loud the crowd are until you go past the winning line.
A horse will win by a very short margin, whether it's a neck or half length.
Winning black type races, you know, you've got to have a second think and say, wow, that was really something.
The Hong Kong Derby is the biggest event on the horse racing calendar in Hong Kong. Held annually since 1873, the 2,000-metre flat race is contested by thoroughbreds aged 4, and it takes place at the Sha Tin racecourse. Last year, 33-year-old Australian jockey PURTON claimed his maiden victory in the Hong Kong Derby aboard Lugat.
It was all the emotions that go with it, the whole build-up. It's the most prestigious race in Hong Kong, and we didn't have the best of runs. We were caught wide and didn't have any cover, but you know, you go from halfway through the race, you think, oh, you know, this is going to be tough, to getting it done, and you know, you got the relief, you got the satisfaction, you got the adrenaline. You know, it's a great feeling.
With a prize fund of $2.3 million US, the Hong Kong Derby trumps England's Epsom Derby and America's equivalent in Kentucky as the richest derby in the world. The race is operated by the Hong Kong Jockey Club. The organisation is the single biggest taxpayer in Hong Kong, such is its income. On Derby Day alone, it turns over in excess of 1.4 billion Hong Kong dollars, equivalent to 185 million US dollars. Anthony Kelly was appointed as the Hong Kong Jockey Club's Executive Director of Racing Business and Operations last August.
When I first started looking at the numbers here, I had to sort of like make sure the calculator was working properly. The racing side of the business here turns over about 107 billion Hong Kong dollars every year. The club in itself turns over just under 200 billion. The model here at the club is something that isn't replicated anywhere else in the world.
Over 1,200 horses are stabled at the Sha Tin racecourse, including all 14 runners of this year's Derby. The majority of the bloodstock are imported from overseas. More confined than European stables, there's no grass grazing here, and the humid climate can test even the strongest of horses. There's an equine hospital, a swimming pool, and a racing laboratory on site, offering year-round support. One trainer who has consistently got the best out of his horses is John Moore. The 66-year-old Australian has been based in Hong Kong for over 40 years, and in that time he's clinched the Trainers' Championship 7 times. Moore had 4 horses carded in this year's Derby, where he was chasing a record-equalling 5th victory.
Yes, I really do think I can do it again. We've got 4 very fit horses going into the race. 3 of them especially have got form on the board. So from that point of view, I'd have to say I've got a very good hand going into it. And I think if the favourite doesn't draw well, and we do, then our chances will be even greater.
The John Sice-trained Sun Jewellery headed in as the pre-race favourite, but John Moore's Werther and Victory Magic were also strongly fancied. Both horses were brought to Hong Kong from New Zealand. Victory Magic in particular had put in some consistent performances in the lead up to the race, finishing in the top 2 in 4 of his last 5 meetings. The 4-year-old bay gelding would be saddled by last year's Derby winner PURTON. Despite the horse's fine form and the opportunity to win back-to-back derbies, PURTON was not getting carried away by the occasion.
You know, you just got a job to do. And it doesn't matter if it's a derby or if it's just an average race. You've got to approach them all the same. You've got to go out and try and put your horse in the right spot, give it every chance to win, and just because it's a derby, you don't get overawed by it. You can't make any mistakes, and you've got to make sure that you're doing everything right.
While Zach Purton boasts 8 years of experience racing in Hong Kong, 22-year-old jockey Chad Schofield was set to make his Derby debut. Born in South Africa, Schofield spent 4 years growing up in Hong Kong, where his father Glyn was a jockey. Yet he was banned from attending the track as a child due to a strict over-18 policy. However, Chad would regularly climb a tree next to the course to catch a glimpse of the races. He became transfixed and has since followed in his father's footsteps.
Very lucky to have a ride in this year's Derby in my first year here on a very good horse called Consort. So, you know, I just sort of take it as it comes. It's just another race, really. But I was lucky enough in my first meeting here. I rode a good winner, Class 2 winner, and everything from then on in just sort of, you know, kept flowing nicely. And I can't complain with the start I've had so far.
Schofield was drawn wide in gate 12, while the John Size-trained favourite, Some Jewellery, ran from 4. After breaking from the gates, it was John Size's other entry, Eastern Express, who held the gallop at the front for the early running. Meanwhile, Victory Magic, saddled by Zach Purton, was well positioned in the pack. As the horses approached the home straight, Werther and Victory Magic edged out in front. And it was Werther, ridden by Hugh Bowman, who pipped his stablemate to the line in a nail-biting finish. Meanwhile, Chad Schofield's mount, Consort, placed a respectable 4th. It was the first international Group 1 victory for Australian jockey Hugh Bowman.
Get on your bus.
For Bowman's compatriot John Moore, it was Derby victory number 5. With Victory Magic placing 2nd, the esteemed trainer completed the Quinella at the race for the 2nd time in 3 years.